talking to you about the potential of big data in fleet management and how that translates into construction. I'm glad to see that in the framework of today's event and Expo in general, a lot of different regions are represented which are far and beyond the Middle East. This shows a certain pace and illustrates the technology adoption rates, which are stronger in certain geographies and weaker in others, or shaped differently. My colleagues have been talking a lot about the potential and the usage of the GIS and how that is translating the digital terrain of the Middle East and potentially other countries. Our experience as location solutions resides in a different domain. What we do is a little bit different. We work with fleet management data, meaning the data that is derived from the vehicles and that produces various deliverables when it comes to fleet management. But in the end, all of us, what we do is that we process and aggregate immense amounts and masses of data that needs to be processed and provided into the different deliverables that can potentially enhance the quality of life in the Middle East. There are some proud facts on this slide. My company's responsibility and expertise resides in fleet management, like I said, and in technology provisioning. We've been on the market for over 15 years. We've been gathering masses and extreme amounts of data. We're processing over 2 million data streams on a daily basis. And this definitely places us in front of a very important question. Another important thing is that being headquartered in the Middle East, which is considered to be the hub for digital innovation globally, we are very often faced with one very important question. Should we be accelerating the levels at which we are developing, or the region is satisfied and no longer hungry for accepting another IoT project into their business and corporate realms, especially in construction? Are they willing to share the data and utilize the data that they and their vehicles and their equipment in construction is generating to better the quality of their corporate realms? This is the question that we're facing every day. In today's presentation, I would like to share some stats on how we, as the GCC, are measuring against the rest of the world when it comes to construction and technological innovation. What are the challenges in collecting the data in construction, and why utilizing that data will definitely help you to stay in business for a much longer period of time. For this, I decided to resort to the popular edition, which is called The Voice of Construction Industry, brought to you by the preliminary edition. The preliminary edition is a review of top-line results, which is an in-depth report on the mood and the outlook of the whole construction industry in the Middle East and Africa and the GCC. The report investigates a complete spectrum and basically measures how big is the share of each region when it comes to construction and innovation. This is a known fact that the market of heavy equipment is going to reach $90.4 billion by 2025. So what is the share of the Middle East in terms of this great amount of money? So this is the statistics brought to us by the preliminary edition, and UAE has been ranked country number 1 by the amount of construction based on the number of construction projects together with equipment utilized and purchased in these territories. The country is being followed by South Africa, Saudi Arabia, Kenya, Egypt, India, and many other countries, as you can see. This statistics is quite fluid and changeable, so in the next 24 months it may change. We may not be score number 1. Somebody else may beat us, but for now, construction is one of the booming pillars, one of the pillars of progress that definitely needs to be merged with technology. Moving further, the Voice of Construction Industry report surveyed 5,951 senior construction professionals based in 136 countries and analyzed the responses by specific construction sector, market, company size. Therefore, the statistics that you can see is the following. The market dynamics over here is that digitalization, IoT, and smart technologies plus 3D printing are probably going to become the next pillars of progress in construction. So about 31% of individuals, which are senior professionals in construction, are saying that advanced technologies are definitely going to help them to stay in business. At the same time, if you look at this pillar down here, about 17% of individuals do not believe that technology impacts their business in any possible way, and will probably sway from using it at all. At the same time, the experts of the similar report are stark in warning for construction firms that ignore the urgency of technological transformation. At the same time, the experts of the same report are claiming that the activity in the construction sector throughout the GCC countries will begin to recover steadily in 2020 after challenging periods of subdued performance. So definitely, as you can see, the activity is progressing. What are the next booming pillars of progress in the GCC? Construction will progress since the growth of population stimulated by Expo 2020 is definitely going to create a lot more opportunities in terms of infrastructure, in terms of building, and as you know, the projecting of GDP growth of 2000 between 2020 and 2021 is definitely there. The strategic vision 2021 and 2030, by means of which we're trying to create the happiest city on earth over here in Dubai, and at the same time, Dubai should become the leader in driverless transformation and digital innovation by the year 2020. Is that going to happen? Are we ready to embrace the challenge? Some of the technology trends over here that are specifying the following. In 2015-2017, the region was not that specific in terms of requirements. What kind of technologies we are needing? The telematics service providers were booming at a very rapid scale. At the same time, the government became more restricted. They came across with different mandatory norms, imposing technologies on different construction companies and different fleet management companies. So the penetration of technology has exceeded by 15%. The motto of 2017 was building bigger, stronger, taller, whereas the motto of 2019 is no longer about going big. It's about going more efficient and more specialized. As a technology provider and solution leader in the country, location solutions, like I said, are very often challenged. Do we have specific solutions for the construction industry which are completely different from fleet management technologies? Do we have the ability to comply with the stringent requirements of the government, of the telematics service providers, of the telcos, to provide what the region actually needs? And they are coming across with very specific features which are no longer generalized. What does the media say about construction and about technologies? How do these two merge and reside together? So the media says that construction sites of the future are to be clean, green, and completely free out of people after the tech transformation. Monitoring devices are becoming mandatory for all trucks by the government. So every possible vehicle or equipment moving along the roads needs to be connected to a specific platform, and that data needs to be worked on and processed. Construction in Dubai has a new mantra. It's no longer about going big. We're not going big. So where are we going if we're not going big? We are going more efficient. We're finding smaller devices, more efficient tools, and much better tools to sponsor the mass manufacturing of human decision making. Dubai Vision, like I said, we want to become a global driverless mobility leader by 2030. By 2030, about 25% of transportation is to become driverless. I'm not sure if we are ready for this futuristic challenge. Does that sound too futuristic, or does that sound real? So the following technology trends are there. Various stages of automation are about to come, such as feet off, eyes off, minds off, hands off. So the driver is no longer becoming a central point of the driving ecosystem. The decision making is going to be shifted towards technologies. Automation is one of the core keys of progress. Like I said, Dubai Vision for the Vision 2030 is over there. We are definitely going to become the leader for driverless transformation, from driving assistance to autonomous vehicles, which are going to penetrate into the transportation industry, is definitely booming. We are in the multimodal period. Different automotive manufacturers, even though they didn't want to work to cooperate together, are coming together for features to build the same embedded telematics. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with this vehicle? It doesn't have a driver. Komatsu autonomous haulage vehicle literally doesn't have a place for the driver at all. What does that mean? It means that a driver or an operator as a central point of the ecosystem is no longer going to exist. The shift from him being a central point of ecosystem is going to be shifted towards technologies. Technologies are going to make decisions for operators and drivers, and integrated and collaborative systems are going to make decisions for the DMs in various companies. So this is another popular opinion by Peter Jones, which is the Technical and Operational Efficiency Director of Skanska. So he said, construction sites will look more like assembly plants dominated by robots. They will be green and completely free of people. Does that not sound too futuristic? Is this going to happen today or tomorrow? We are frequently being bombarded or being headquartered and located in Dubai by various different buzzwords such as cryptocurrency, such as artificial intelligence, such as the Internet of Things. But is this the future? Should I plan ahead and factor these realms into my business of tomorrow? Or should I focus on more tangible examples of what exactly is going to happen tomorrow? What are the technologies that I should pay for? And what is the financial revenue that I can get out of utilizing these technologies? The first factor is very simple, and I mentioned that already in my presentation. The global heavy construction equipment market is expected to reach $90.4 billion by 2025. It's a tangible example. This is real. This definitely is going to happen. And Dubai and the UAE in general will have a very large share of that market and that business. It's not as futuristic as robotized terrains in construction. How do we stimulate the demand? How do we stay competitive in winning the projects? Breaking free of manual labor is crucial. Like I said, semi-autonomous, semi-automated construction sites are going to become the next realm. So it's not going to be completely free of human labor, but it's going to be robotized to the point of systems running processes on construction sites. And like I said, OEMs are coming together for features. Before that, Komatsu and Renault were not working together. Right now, we have systems that operate as embedded telematics for a wide range of different automakers. I read a very popular book by Mr. Robert who is the Harvard Professor of Sciences. He created several guidelines that will help businesses move and stay more competitive. So the book is called How to Thrive in a World Where Everything Can Be Copied. It circles around 5 different concepts, 3 of which I think are quite relevant for any possible business that wants to stay competitive. So the first one is technological openness. You have to stay technologically open to a lot of different products that are being generated on the market. Cannibalizing itself, it means you have to kill the current principles of working with the companies before the competition does and transform them into something better than that. And the third one is something that I like the most, is automating everything. It comes with the advanced manufacturing of human decision making and shifting that to technologies. So regardless of whether or not we are going to be robotized and completely replaced by androids, we definitely have to get rid of the pen and paper principles of running the business and shift faster to technologies. So many people will say data is the new oil, but oil will not power a car. So if data is the new oil, analytics is the new refinery, and intelligence is the new gasoline. We have to find a better way to consolidate equipment data and to start working on that data. But what are the challenges in gathering that data, especially in the Middle East? Now 63% of direct labor, which is taken from the Digitalist magazine, it's a quote, on mega construction projects is spent waiting for materials and equipment. This lack of productivity impacts the bottom line, as typical margins for construction companies range from 2 to 8%. It means that if the construction site is currently not monitored by any GPS tracking or any IoT technology, then this is the wastage that is happening and we are completely unaware of the reality. If we cannot track that lack of progress, there is no way we can manage that data. Next is the cost of labor on construction sites. Fuel is the biggest expense for any construction operation, and bids are becoming extremely tight. So time is money. If we are not monitoring the progress of our vehicles, we cannot process and gather that data and create systems that will be able to monitor the efficiency. Another challenge is that for many fleets, downtime is tangible and can be translated into dollars. So in fact, downtime costs a fleet an average from $500 to $700 per vehicle. As you can see, poorly maintained equipment runs out much faster, about 15,000 miles faster than the equipment that regularly participates in vehicle maintenance programs. Downtime of equipment is the labor problem. One inoperable crane can stop from 5 to 10 people, labor workers on the construction sites. And this is something that is happening without us knowing. So we cannot manage this data if we cannot measure it. This is why we're coming together with the systems that help to tighten the security, because as you can see, another important challenge is that a lot of equipment, a lot of machinery is being stolen. Between 300 million to 1 billion worth of construction equipment is being stolen on a yearly basis. 25% of that equipment is only being recovered. A bit of statistics about what exactly is being stolen, but the loss of expensive assets, the loss of expensive equipment is definitely affecting the bottom lines of a lot of different construction companies. What are the challenges in utilizing the equipment better? Well, you can install the tracking device. You can start deploying the equipment in a better way, because the tracking device will accumulate a range of parameters that will definitely help you to monitor that equipment. You are unable to track the correct maintenance hours by not having the GPS tracker in your car, in your vehicle. You are unable to track the activity of operators. You are unable to do the financial mapping of the projects based on no data whatsoever. How to utilize the equipment better? Well, like I said, the GPS tracker has to be inside the equipment to be able to generate data and create flexible conditions and algorithms to be able to manage those vehicles and that equipment. By knowing the breakdown activity of each unit per type, per project, per day, per type of equipment as well, you execute proper maintenance and avoid exceeding the limit and threshold. So these are all the popular features that we have been fighting on the market for. We have been providing solutions to basically beat that. But at the same time, the installation of a GPS tracking device in the equipment is not the only thing that needs to be done. Construction companies utilize hundreds of equipments. Each of them ranges by model, by type, by age. They have multiple sensors installed. They have multiple different hardware devices installed, and all of which are being tracked by various systems. So what we get by installing the hardware on the vehicles and by giving small devices to labor workers that are running by the NB-IoT systems, what we are getting is a masses and myriads of data that does not collaborate or does not integrate with each other. Together with that, another challenge on the market is that we're definitely entering the era of NB-IoT, where small devices can communicate and collaborate with each other. The networks are much cheaper and much more narrower. The 5G technology is definitely providing for more speeds with which we can move in the market. We can move faster, but will telcos create ecosystems for us to do that in a good way? The market of smart devices is definitely booming. We need to make sure that the devices that you are using or we are using are integrated with the fleet management systems that are being utilized. So what we as Location Solutions are calling is the integrated dashboards, where a lot of different companies and a lot of different systems would collaborate. And we are willing to share, we're open to sharing our data, and we are open to inviting other companies to collaborate on the mindset and the deliverables that they are providing to this market. We are located in this hall. We have a booth, and at this booth we are providing and displaying a lot of different technologies. Like I said, the paradigm of development of location solutions and the products that we are offering to the market is quite varied. We started with fleet management and GPS tracking, where we didn't really need to focus on a lot of data. We needed to track, log, and report the data. Later on, we created other solutions that would integrate with the financial systems of different companies that would not only report, but would provide a deeper analytical overview of the financial mapping, of how much money each project is costing. There is equipment tracking module that can track basically any possible equipment, which is also integrated with the embedded telematic systems of the OEMs. so which is definitely giving you a much better overview of the systems. So this is one of the platforms, like I said, which is integrated with over 4 different components from other manufacturers. It is giving you the customer delivery data. It is giving you the information about the available mixers on the site. It is giving you financial information on how much money each day of work and equipment costs. There are other platforms that are specifying more on how much time exactly the construction equipment was working. What was the idling time? What was the time without work? What are the possibilities to improve that and basically cut the bottom lines of various projects? There are other financial factors that are definitely contributing into how well we are tracking the data. This is more of a workshop management platform that can track the financial analytics for the fleet management. Like I said, we have entered the era of advanced telematics, where you are no longer interested in logging the data, but you are interested in post-processing the data, into creating and generating these masses of data that are worked on and that are shaped into various systems that can give you a full financial mapping picture and a profile of your organization and give you guidelines on how better practices you can implement in your corporate realms. Like I said, with telematics and with the data from telematics, you can definitely improve the operator performance. If 63% of direct labor time is spent waiting for the equipment and the materials to be delivered, why wouldn't you cut that parameter? If you are renting the equipment, the system will help you rent less equipment or use that equipment more efficiently. Or the maintenance hours would be less based on the previous data or the historical data from the system. Of course, everybody's talking about the fuel, so the fuel consumption will be reduced. Job estimates will be much better organized, and managing the operational expenses is one very important factor that should never be underestimated. Again, getting back to a much more popular report, which is the QIT Corp. So they analyzed the responses from about 3,565 surveyed professionals on the market of telematics in the Middle East, in the GCC in general, in Africa, and they specified the answers based on what kind of revenues and what kind of advantages these professionals received from implemented telematics in their corporate realms. So the anticipated savings through application of telematics was that fuel was saved by about 40% of different companies. Maintenance definitely became better, and the current uses of telematics are the following: machine utilization, operator productivity. So even those that have been using telematics for the previous 3 to 5 years are already receiving these benefits, are no longer able to neglect the usage of telematics. They will keep using the systems, and they already are recognizing the important benefits. And these are the real factual benefits on what exactly has been saved, on how much money has been generated, and how many parameters have been optimized by the usage of telematics. So the framework of historical data has been 5 years. As you can see, preventive maintenance is something that is scoring very high in terms of all the different advantages that telematics has given to you. Operator productivity was sufficiently improved. And location services loss, of course, you know where your vehicles are and equipment is located. The proper allocation of equipment is also one of the key parameters. So for the companies that have been surveyed and those actively utilizing telematics, there was a very important question that they asked them: how do you expect the turnover to change by 2020? About 60% of construction professionals utilizing telematics responded that, well, it will increase, because we see that the market potential is totally synergizing with the development of telematics, with the development of digital era, digital innovation. We are actively and successfully putting these two components together, and our revenues will increase. 13% of people that are using telematics either misusing telematics or are no longer happy with the current systems, are saying that it probably will decrease. And about 25%, this fraction believes that, well, things will stay the same. However, the popular opinion is that yes, with the help of technologies, the market will definitely change, and that will help them make more money. So, just to cap up my presentation, we are definitely open to collaborations and to cooperating in terms of sharing the big data with a range of other companies. We are open to integrating and inviting your IoT platforms and your systems into our corporate realms, integrating products together. We are, which is the most important thing, interested in improving the quality of life in this region. I'm interested to see Expo 2020 finished in 2020. I'm interested to see the data coming from construction sites being utilized in the proper way. And I'm interested to make Dubai the happiest city on earth. If you start missing me or you want to talk to any of my colleagues, we are over here, located in Rashid D231. So you are welcome to approach us and talk a little bit more about the potential ways of collaborating and working together and explore the full display of our products. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that excellent presentation. Does anybody have any questions for Volha? Okay, I've got a question. So where do you see the opportunities for integrating some of these telematics technologies with other IoT-based and other technologies, maybe some of the things we've seen from some of the presentations today? You see there are opportunities for that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, we develop our own technologies, and we've been developing them for about 15 years, apologize. For the previous 3 years, we've seen that there is a trend. We don't really need to develop extra features. What we need to do is just take the clusters of data from various other platforms and merge them with our data and build much better tools on top of it. So synergies have been taking place for the previous 3 years, and we find that the success and the operativeness of the products increases as soon as you start collaborating with other technologies providers. So what we provide is no longer a product that originated from location solutions or delivered solely by location solutions. It's a mixture of different components and different platforms that collaborate and talk to each other, that basically work as a gateway. So a construction professional will be able to see everything on an integrated dashboard. That would be financial information, that would be geolocation data, that would be M2M data, that could even be the data from the municipalities, such as when the pharmacy is open, how many restaurants you have available. So anything that is integratable or that is useful for you as a construction professional or a fleet management professional can be merged and integrated into one smart city platform. You don't need to open 55 different platforms, so we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We are open to collaborations, and we are open to cooperating even with a greater and a larger number of industry professionals and telematic system providers.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, Volha, thank you for challenging us to think about how these technologies are going to impact our future.